Welcome, my colleagues. I'm Graveseeker, and this is Mudahar, some ordinary gamer. Swatting keeps getting worse. Now, if you don't know what swatting is, basically someone calls the police, says it on a streamer. I don't know if it's specifically a streamer, but in most cases it's a streamer. And the police comes in and just, well, F's shit up. So a pretty nasty thing to do. And you really shouldn't do it. But let's see what Muna has to say. And whoops.
Hello guys and gals, me Mudahar, and I'm a firm believer that if you SWAT people, you basically lie to law enforcement and get a SWAT team pulled up to somebody's house, you should be charged for attempted murder and serve a minimum sentence of 10 years, okay?
You know what? That's actually... Yes, this makes sense. Yep, this would be... Because you're not just... by the way, I wouldn't even say just for attempted murder, but also for just basically wasting time from a SWAT team that could do something else. So I would say 15 years minimum.
Okay. Now, I know there's some people watching who are like, but Muda, that seems like it's a pretty heavy punishment. And for those people, I would like to tell you to grow up.
Yes, he's correct. Grow up, because in the real world, this stuff can kill people. And even, best case scenario, it doesn't do anything, it doesn't kill people. You stress people out and you waste time, and it could be that the team needs to be somewhere else and save someone else. But because of your bad choice, they
Ladies
are...
and gentlemen, swatting, for those of you who have no idea what this is, has basically been a thing that's been going on pretty much as long as internet culture has been around. Basically, you find somebody popular on the internet, you find out that they're live streaming, and by chance, if their public, their private address is leaked out into the world, all you effectively have to do is call up a number. Again, I'm not trying to make this a guide, a Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide of how to SWAT people. But generally, people will spoof their numbers, their location. Maybe they'll sit behind a VPN, a burner Skype account, and basically pay to call local law enforcement and tell them that there could be a multitude of scary things, okay? Like a bomb threat, an active shooter, all right? Something crazy like that. So usually when you call a 911 dispatcher and you mention that stuff, it doesn't matter if you have the most jokey attitude or whatnot. To the police dispatcher, they're just going to tell the cops, yeah, there's a fucked up shooter and there's a bomb threat or a hostage crisis is happening. So at that moment in time, they...
Yep. And you hear all of this. And if some of you that actually listen to this and still think it's a good idea, get help. Get really go to a freaking psychologist and get help, because this stuff isn't fun.
They don't send Bill and Ted the cops over. They send a goddamn SWAT team, ladies and gentlemen. Now, SWAT agents are kind of like counter-terrorist units. Like, they're not joking around. They're fully armed to the teeth, submachine guns, full armor. They raid your goddamn house, and they are trained to shoot at actual armed targets, right?
Yep.
So usually you can imagine if some civilian gets caught up in the middle of it, especially like a goddamn gamer who might happen to have some, controller in their hand while the cops break through their door. And these people are trained within like a fraction of a second. If they see something's up, bullets whiz and you're dead. So yeah, this actually is very dangerous. And to the people who wonder, oh, it's just a harmless prank.
No.
Grow up. So again, why am I talking about this? Because, ladies and gentlemen, a stream that I was watching, that I was looking into, where a certain actor known as Ned Luke, you might know him from GTA 5, right? As Michael DeSanta. He's just streaming GTA la-di-da-di-do on Thanksgiving, and lo and behold, SWAT team show up to his house. Watch this.
Look at this guy. Here's even more. Here you go. How about this guy? 1,47,630,139,639. Hello. They're what? Oh, nice. Nice. All right. I'll be out there. All right, I got to go. Now these assholes have swatted my house, so I've got to go. All right, have a good one.
Now, thankfully, Ned, being the intelligent...
Okay, like, this wasn't that bad. If I really... good.
person that he is, most likely called law enforcement ahead of time, and I assume he did what I do and everyone else does. He just told them that there could be a chance that some unhinged fuck might call you and tell you that there's a threat at this specific address, and usually what appears to happen in that situation is you get called, but if you don't pick up that call, from my understanding, they will SWAT your house, because again, that call pretty much just exists for you to, like, basically, you know, pick up and tell them, yeah, there's nothing crazy going on, you've been trolled by the internet. So again, in this situation,
really?
They send a fully armed unit to your place. They waste the taxpayer money, they waste time, they waste the resources that could have actually gone to a real threat, and basically decide to put somebody's life in a...
And by the way, that you don't pick up the call, this can happen. Like, I don't have my phone near me all the time. This can happen.
Extreme danger. Now, you might be wondering, whoa, Muda, it's still... I'm really trying to, like, talk to the individuals that, like, think this is a joke. I know most people, I would assume 99.9% of the people watching this video know the actual severity of such an actual crime. But for the few people that don't know, sometimes these situations can actually lead to somebody dying. For instance, back in 2019, there was a Californian dumbass who got sentenced to 20 years in prison for joking about a 911 call about a hostage situation in Kansas, where the cops, like I told you at the beginning of this, broke into a house, shot the person, and then found out later, this was a false report. There wasn't ever a hostage situation. Now, you might have seen me play games like SWAT 4 on my channel, but there's an even newer game, Ready or Not. I've made videos on it, and it's pretty much like a SWAT simulator, and it gives you like a brief glimpse of the decision-making that it takes an agent to do. Even in a video game simulation, you have to deal with civilians who you don't know from a distance pose a threat or not, and you literally have, no joke, half a second to respond to somebody brandishing a firearm and opening it up on you. So again, the point is, every single agent involved in a swatting is like terminally on edge, as they should be. They're goddamn counter-terror SWAT team members, right? Even armed cops who don't understand, who walk into a situation thinking, yeah, this is a shooter situation. This is some serious stuff. Yeah. Again, accidents like this happen and people tend to die. So again, in this situation, an individual here will agree to serve 20 to 25 years in a federal prison as part of a plea agreement. Dog, when you're pleading and getting 20 to 25, you know the deal is stacked against you, and the entire state wants to make an example for you that'll be written in textbooks for decades to come. So they even mention in this that the false report was called because two gamers, Casey Viner, 18, and Shane Gaskill, 25, authorities said, Viner asked Barris to make the call as an act of retaliation after a game of Call of Duty ended badly. Barris then taunted Gaskill in Twitter direct messages before Gaskill challenged the California man to swat him. So again, over a game of Call of Duty. Now again, ladies and gentlemen, I know this isn't necessarily the last time a swatting is going to happen, nor was it the first time. But it's still such a shame that this heinous crime is still so easy to actually perform in reality that there really doesn't seem to be a fix against it. The people that actually get caught by this are the people dumb enough to talk about it on Twitter, to literally use like cell phone spoofing services where they've actually attached their financial records to as buying credit to make calls to law enforcement agencies. Those are the only people that get caught just because they're so actually dumb in this situation. Unfortunately, with VPNs and how we basically like have multiple different countries where like if you get swatted from somebody in like Russia, all right, there's no way they're ever going to enforce that law, period. And it happens from time to time. You have literal individuals from other parts of the world making calls to local law enforcement and getting them to do stuff. The only thing that could even exacerbate this issue is if instead of calling, we somehow had a web form to call in law enforcement. That would be goddamn pandemonium. I'm pretty sure at this point, a lot of law enforcement agencies literally will pull up to a house and just look at it from the outside and say, it's probably a gamer situation. But that's still not enough for them to not participate in commencing the SWAT. Remember, for law enforcement agencies, they think the most serious shit is going on. And unfortunately, yes, in a lot of cases...
And they must do it, by the way. Because if there is some shit going on, you have to be on it instantly. Like, just on point. Like, you really have just split-second decision to make. This is, yeah.
People end up dying because of these situations. And it's why I think that the only punishment to have when these people get caught is to literally be charged with not swatting. Another YouTuber I watch too by the name of Luke Steffens, if you actually checked out his content, he covers... Another YouTuber I watch by the name of Luke Steffens also recently got swatted like 10 days ago, where they talked about this whole situation themselves. And of course, it should remind you that this is not something that is going to be going away anytime soon. But what is really important about the situation is Luke does mention his old address, which is really true. Like, I have an older address that's out there on the internet, and I don't live there. But if somebody decides to swat that while I'm live streaming for any chance, then it's not me that they're putting in danger. It's somebody totally unrelated to me that is going into an actual dangerous scenario. Like, somebody who has no idea who I am, just lives at the old address that I once lived at years ago, might wake up to like guns in their faces, or might have somebody kick down their door that they have no idea of. Like, you are putting people you don't even know in actual danger. Again, that's the real problem over here. And again, there are laws about this stuff too. Like, if you look through, at least in the California penal system, there are laws about false reports, but I don't think they go far enough. I really do think that if we're going to go forward with this kind of behavior...
Individual reports a case of report of met in city country, individual distinct, $1,000... No, $1,000 for... Okay, that's nothing. Okay. Individual supported by cause report of made city country deposit by existing injury. The result of false report is get any funny. So yes, emergency use. Yeah, it's basically the short of it is depending on the outcome, it's as basically harsh as the outcome is, but $1,000 for a false report, that's nothing. That's irrelevant. Basically, if you really want to swat someone, like, you don't give a fuck about that.
Behavior. The people that are caught doing this, especially the ones dumb enough to, should be charged with attempted murder. There are laws around this, but generally with how severe this is, I really do think this should be an attempted murder charge, because at the end of the day, a SWAT is no joke. You are literally sending armed counter-terrorists to somebody's house, and those people will probably be on severe edge, and most likely, if the person you're swatting is even a little bit confrontational, they get shot right through the goddamn head, okay? They're filled with holes. And ultimately, it's the stupid idiot to blame on top of it. And I think really the sentencing to this...
And the consequence from that is, more often than not, the stupid idiot doesn't give a fuck, but the guy that actually shot the innocent guy, well, he has trauma to deal with. For a lifetime.
Should be a minimum 10 years. Goddamn 10 to 20 for crying out loud. Hell, if people die, should straight up be a fucking life sentence. But ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mudahar, and yeah.
And I don't think Mudahar knows how this works, at least in America, but a life sentence is basically 25 years. So, yeah. So you should get multiple life sentences. In Germany, on the other hand, you cannot get more than a life sentence than one. And that's shitty. To be honest, I'm not a fan of that.
This topic, I really wish there was like a fix to it, but honestly, with how widespread this has become and how many layers that you can realistically hide behind on the internet, there really isn't any cure to a swatting. It's just going to happen. It's just the world we live in. So ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mudahar, and yeah, I'm out.
Yep. And Acolytes, I hope you liked it. I'm also, damn, this is frustrating.